Hello, I'm Dr. Rosie Kuhn, and welcome to this series, I Want to Be a Better Coach. I've got some interesting shares with you, and I, first of all, want to appreciate and value and acknowledge those people who share themselves with me in such a way that they give me and inspire me to write or talk about some things that are really important in terms of relationships with ourselves as coaches, our relationships with our clients, our relationships with life in general and life coaching and all the rest of it. So thank you for all of you who are submitting questions and challenges or through our conversations are inspiring me to talk about what I talk about. And if you're interested and love what I'm talking about or like what I'm talking about or find value, please like and subscribe so you'll get these on a weekly basis. And please share it with people you think might get value from these conversations. All right, let me jump in. All right. The book I read all the time, which is really, really helpful in developing me as a human being, but also as a coach, is this book called Oneness, and it's transcribed by this woman named Rasha. And I've been using this book for a very long time. But one of the things it said this morning, I saw it says, "We are mastering our life as we are creating it. We are mastering our life as we are creating it." So as an individual who is cultivating your capacity to be a better coach, we'll say, you are mastering your capacity to be a better coach as you're creating it, as you're with your client, as you're with yourself, with your client. And so this is a really, really good thing to think about is like, we think that if we take a training program, we've got a certificate, which means we've done a number of hours of this and that we're going to step into this practice of coaching and be really good at it right now. And there's so many elements of life and so many elements of our ego self and our spiritual self and our own wants and desires to be a coach that show up with every client. And so if we are aware of that, we go, wow, there's so much to be with in every single session with any and every client that it's a lot. It's a whole lot. In fact, one of my the people that supervises, she gets supervised and mentors with me. She goes, I didn't know that coaching would be so difficult. In a sense, I didn't know that I'd have to be growing myself so that I could be more present and more available and more accessible to my clients. So I really love that when she said that, like, I didn't know it was so hard, not in terms of hard in making a business, but hard in terms of cultivating herself to be a most effective coach she can be. And so that element is that in every single session, we are the experiencer of ourselves as the coach, but we're also the student. We're learning from the experience. And we're also the teacher in a sense. Our clients were listening, and we have some elements of teaching in our sessions, just because we're growing and cultivating and drawing from our clients their most empowered selves. And we're learning how to do that. So we're the teacher, we're the student, and at the same time, we're in the experience of it. So in a sense, every time I'm with a client, I had a new client yesterday, and it's like, I have some ideas of how it's going to go, but how it shows up is totally who knows. And I have to be open and allowing so that I'm not running or managing or structuring, but just giving the space and room for my client to show up in the way who they are in their most authentic self. Every time it's a new experience for me. So when I come into a session with any kind of limitations or constraints or strategies, generally it's not going to work. I have a sense of where I want to go, or the first question I ask, which you've heard me say, is, what would you like from our session? Or as the fairy godmother, oh my God, my wand is gone from now. My fairy godmother wand, here it is. Oh, sorry. Oh, here it is. My fairy godmother wand. I say, as your fairy godmother, what is it that you're wanting from our session, or what are you wanting in your life? That magic opens up that question, the presence to the question opens up my clients to any and all possibility. So every time I'm with a client, the point is, every time I'm with my client, it's a new experience for me, and I'm learning and growing at the same time. And this has come up within the last couple of days, because it's like there's a level of intimacy when we can let go of our attachments to our clients liking us or getting us or the wanting us to be successful or proving or improving. All of that, if we can let go of that, we're having an authentic, intimate presence with this individual. And it's what we say we want with our partners or our children or people that are, with God or spirit. We say we want this level of intimacy, and yet at the same time, we struggle to allow it to happen. So this level of presence, this level of experiencing, being aware, being available to the experience allows me to say, "Ooh, I'm getting in the way, or I'm resisting, or I'm trying to do something," all of which gets in the way of this level of intimacy, which draws my client into a sense of safe presence where they can be their full self and truly articulate who they are. So for you, this is an experience of experiencing yourself in this role as a coach and learning every time you say something, every time your client says something, it's a learning opportunity. How do I be with this? What do I do next? What do I say? How do I respond? So knowing that over and over and over again, that's a good thing. I've been doing this 25 years, this coaching specifically. Before that, I was a therapist and a spiritual guide. To know that that's part of every client experience, it's a good thing because you're going to be learning and growing every single step of the way. And that's one of the points of I want to be a better coach. So just keep that in mind. It's like you'll never get there, if you will. You'll get more comfortable with being you and you'll continue to grow. It's just a phenomenal experience. Okay. Next point. We have that sense that we have a client and they have a particular goal or result or dream in mind, and we want to get them there. And so this topic I called "Hurry Up and Get There," because we want to have something happen. We want to have something happen, and we can go success, fulfillment, and when our clients aren't moving at the level that we think they should or that we want them to, then we get frustrated and disappointed. One of the biggest lessons I learned, I used to teach sailing on the San Francisco Bay. And at one point I was frustrated with my students who were brand new at sailing, and the San Francisco Bay is very windy and very, very challenging. And I told my manager, I said, "I'm really frustrated with these people." And he goes, "You have no right to be frustrated because those frustrations are based on your expectations that these people should be different than they are, that they should be moving faster or easier. Like your frustrations, your expectations, you have no place for them. They have no place here in this work. So get over yourself." And I loved that. It took me to a greater sense of respect and honor for the people who show up as my students. I was in my 40s, so that was like 30 years ago. Yikes! But it allowed me to come to a place of expecting expecting less and less and less, and respecting them for their courage to show up. So if you guys know what it's like to be a client or get coached, you know what it takes, the level of courage it takes to show up in a coaching conversation. Huge. And it takes courage to articulate your wants. So many people, since I talk about, I did a webinar on allowing yourself to want what you want. I'll tell you where that's available at another time. But it's like people don't allow themselves to even know what they want. So number one, to show up as a coaching session and say, "Here's what I want," huge amount of courage. And so even to start in a conversation with someone and say, "Wow, thanks for being here, and thanks for your openness to articulating your wants, and thanks for being willing to have this conversation," that's huge, huge for them. So I've gone from and had to reframe that, "Hey, let's get you going because I'm, chop chop. I want to show my success. I want to show you how good I am. I want to prove that I'm effective and that I deserve to be paid for this." Like all that stuff gets in the way of my clients being on their own path, at their own pace, at the level to which they can grow and change and make shifts and changes. I heard the other day, someone said, and I don't remember the fellow, uh, he said, everybody wants to reach the summit. They just don't want to do the climb. And my way of putting it is, we all want transformation. We just don't want to change. And so if a person comes into my practice, they're wanting some sessions with me. First of all, I honor and respect them so much for the courage it takes to do that. And then secondly, to honor and respect the journey, this transformational journey that they're about to take at this level with me as their thinking partner and their witness. So take that into consideration, that your expectations, and when you get disappointed in where your client is or how fast they're moving, that's yours and not your client's. That's your expectations. And there's something that you want to happen. There's something you want to get by your client's successes. And of course, you want your client to be successful. But if you get frustrated and disappointed, that's about you. And this is a hard one for us. It's a both and in a sense. Again, you want your clients to improve, and you want them to get their goals and move in that on that trajectory. And at the same time, if you're frustrated with where they are and where they are in terms of the gradient with which they can move, that's something for you to work with a supervisor or a coach or someone like that, where you can work through that so that you're not pressuring your clients to move faster than they can actually move. When we pressure people, I don't know about you, but whenever anybody pressures me, or I just kind of get triggered into a sense I'm being pressured, I resist. And what I don't want to create in my clients is any resistance. There's already enough based on reality, the life they live. I don't need to add more pressure, and I don't need to add more that's going to allow them or have them resist their own self. So the more where I can keep my disappointments and frustrations out of the session, the more likely they are to feel safe and open and allowing themselves to be who they are and experience that sense of self that they're wanting to grow through the work. So just keep that in mind in terms of where you might be frustrated and or disappointed. We'll talk another time, another session, about when your clients are frustrated or disappointed with themselves. But right now, I just want to address you in where you get frustrated and disappointed. And again, take that up with your supervisor, your mentor, your group. I run a group of coaches where we talk about what's showing up in their sessions and how they become a more effective coach. And it's just an amazing conversation. And if you're interested in that, contact me. In the description below, there's an email for you to contact me so we can talk about that. But it's a really wonderful experience to share this with other coaches. So keep that in mind. Okay, the opposite of that is, oh no, my clients are reaching their goals. Like, what's going to happen to me if they get good? What happens if they reach their goals? Oh my. And this is a really interesting dilemma for people because, and again, I had it in my group today, we talked about it. And these are people who've been coaching for years. And these dilemmas and these questions and thoughts arise even now after years of coaching. So this is not just about people who are beginner coaches. These are coaches all along the way. And even me, I have these moments of these questions that show up like, oh my God, they're reaching their goals. Now what? And this is a really wonderful experience for you. And as you, as you're growing your capacity to be with your clients' successes, you're being with, oh my God, my clients are being successful. Now what? Am I working myself out of a job? Am I no longer needed? Am I becoming obsolete? All of those things can create strategies that keep our clients hooked in. And I've experienced it myself. I've done it myself, and I coach other people and train people who go, yeah, I keep doing things to keep my client hooked in, as opposed to celebrating where they are and maybe they're, at a place of completion for now. So this is a really a big deal. Um, when I was training many years ago, 20 some years ago, one of the tools that was given to us was every 6 weeks with your clients, have a check-in, like, how's it going? What's working? What's not working? What's been of value? And where do you want to go from here? And I was at first afraid to do that. I was resistant, partly because I thought this gives them an opportunity to complain and tell me how bad I am and how I'm not effective. And it gives them a chance to leave. All these kinds of things that I was showing up that would happen if I had one of these 6 week or 6 month evaluation kind of conversations. Instead, it gave me an opportunity to be present and celebrate the successes that my clients were experiencing. They were experiencing themselves at a different level that, in a sense, of weekly sessions or monthly sessions or whatever they weren't able to address or acknowledge. But in 6 weeks, they were able to say, wow, here's the progress I've made. Here's where I'm now at, compared to where I was when in the beginning. They're able to see that level of growth. And that was really helpful for me to allow that without in the experience of, oh, they're going to leave. It that had to get out of my conversation, because if I'm always afraid that people are going to leave, then I'm not coaching from authentic support and service of my clients. I'm trying to get something. I'm trying to get them to pay me consistently for years or something. And it's like, no, as long as I'm trying to get something from my client, I can't be authentically present to their growth, their process, their journey, their unfolding. So it's really a practice to go, wow, you're gaining ground here. You're making changes, and you're shifting, and you're seeing things, and the awareness is making you allowing you to make different choices. Like, how awesome is that? And that's what we're about here, is when our clients are experiencing moments of aha moments, or moments of revelations, or I never saw myself like this before. I never even could imagine myself having this quality of experience with myself. Those are moments that we want to experience with them in terms of saying, wow, tell me more about that. How is that to be in your success? How is that to have gone from the place of not being successful or resisting success and fulfillment to now allowing yourself to have those experiences? And again, in the conversation I had this morning with my group, we were laughing because they were saying, "Hey, I want to grow, but I don't want to change." And it says, "I don't want to actually have um, my successes, because I don't know how to be with my successes." And so a lot of people will resist or avoid or ignore when they get close to that success place. And this is not the next bullet point, is coaching to sustainability. So what I mean by that, so I'm going to back up again, back into, oh no, my clients are reaching their goals. If we remember that life is a process, and when people are in the process of transforming or shifting or changing or whatever, growing a capacity, even let's say it's golf, and they're learning to swing the club in a certain way. It doesn't matter what people are attempting to improve. I'm a knitter, so constantly working on new things I've never didn't even know existed. And now if I'm making a sweater, I have to learn these particular things. And I'm constantly learning and growing my abilities to be effective doing that. So we're always, always working towards, in this process of growing ourselves, growing our capacities, our abilities, we're getting closer to fulfillment or mastery, or whatever you want to call that word, results, our dream. And we're having an experience inside. Again, the experience, the student, the teacher, we're experiencing like ourselves. And so our clients are like experiencing themselves in this process of getting closer to their trajectory, to their goals. And what's it like in them as they do that? This is true for you too, in a sense, like as you become more competent and confident in what you're doing, there's a shift in who you be and how you be. And we want to address that for you. We want you to address it, and you want to address it with your client. Like, what's that like right now? The sustainability of your goal is closer and closer. You're able to stay here longer and longer. So if you think about a person who's wanting to lose weight, and if you know anything about food addiction in a sense, or these patternings and habits, that it takes a long time to actually be able to sustain a level of permanence of that weight loss, or of substance sobriety, we'll say. It takes a long time to have those habits where they come back less and less often. The habits of resisting and resentment, the habits of anger or despair, worry, or guilt, like whatever those habits are that are so automatic, it takes time to grow that sustainability. Because the truth is, we don't know. And a person will say, and I said this last week too, I don't know how to do me in competence. I don't know how to do me in the fulfillment of my goals. I always know how to make sure I don't reach my goals, because I don't know how to do me with my goals. This is true for every single one of us. Anywhere that you stop yourself from, in a sense, anytime you feel a resistance or a fear, and you're probably feeling a lack, like, I don't know how to do me. There's a lack. That's a statement of lack. I don't know how to do me. But if we are aware of that for ourselves, we can be more aware of how our client doesn't know how to do them in that state of success or fulfillment. And so we're coaching to sustainability. A client, when I ask my clients what they want, a client I had yesterday, and he came in with a lot of questions. And it's like, he said, I have all these questions. And I go, and what do you want? He goes, I don't know. I just want answers to my questions. And I go, if you have the answers to those questions, and I pulled out my magic wand, magically, you have the answers. The answers are given to you. You're done. You've got the answers. Now what? And he was like, he just went into a state of awe and wonder and delight. He says, I feel free. I love what I'm doing. I feel the flow and connection with what I'm doing and how I'm doing it. I'm very happy. It's terrific. And those questions keep coming up that get in the way, like, well, how do I do this? And where does that go? And all those kinds of things. My point is that this fellow has a degree of sustainability, of that ability to hold that state of wonder and freedom to be in the fullest expression of what's showing up now. And not always. And there's always the slippery slope, always having to go back and work some more, because we're growing the sustainability of weight loss, the sustainability of financial freedom, the sustainability of health and well-being, the sustainability of love and intimacy. We're constantly in the building of that sustainability. And I think a life coach is so important in exercising those muscles, like how to grow the capacity to sustain what you're wanting, and what happens when there's the slippery slope of, man, I lost it. People who overeat, it's like, oh, I just overate. It's like, okay, great. That's part of the process. It's not bad, wrong, or judging. It's like, wow, it's not sustainable. And if we look at who we be and how we be in our fear-based, constrained, limited, lack orientation in the world, as life coaches, we're growing people out of that context, out of that paradigm, into a paradigm of fulfillment. And it takes time to grow that capacity to sustainability. So that's really, really important when you're having a conversation with your client, to say, am I trying to get my client there? Or am I working with them to see where they are in this process of growing themselves? Life coaching, life is a process. Who am I in this moment? Who am I in this moment? And it continues to grow. So as a witness and a thinking partner for you, I want you to see that's what you are for your clients. That listening, and that where is that working, and where is it get scary, and where is it like, I don't know who I am in fulfillment. And so I'm going back to my old ways because I know who I am in my dysfunctions. I know who I am in my addictions. I know who I am in my fear and my sense of lack. And so we're listening for that without judgments. So again, we're when my clients are like, oh no, when my clients are like, oh, they're gonna leave, it's like, oh my God, what a celebration. They have grown to the point where they are feeling the fulfillment of themselves. And you as a coaching listening partner going, wow, what's that like for you to be in this moment of fulfillment? What's it like for you? What challenged you? What did you shift so that you got here? It's a question I ask a lot, in a sense that, and I'm not remembering the specifics, but earlier this week, a client said, this showed up and this showed up. Some really positive things showed up. And generally, we go, it's great. Now let's get back to coaching. What I want to do is coach to that. Like, what shifted in you that allowed that to show up? Because you are the source of that showing up. We go, oh, you know what? The universe provided this for me, or my friend sent me a client, or somebody gave me some money, or whatever that is. It's like that you are the source of that, whatever came to you. So what shifted in you? You're empowering your client to be 100% accountable for what's showing up, all the good stuff. What shifted in you allowed this to show up? Very exciting. And they go, nothing. Don't know what you're talking about. Wasn't me. I didn't do it. But you as their coach are witnessing everything that they're doing and shifting and changing. You're listening to what's the challenges that they're facing that keeps them stuck, and or that they're facing with courage, and just even in the conversation. And then bada bing, bada boom, oh my God, this showed up. And if we go, way to go, and then move on, we don't give them full measure of how they brought about this. This is so important in terms of transformational coaching. Transformational work is giving the client 100% responsibility. And I think I've heard this in terms of coaches, golf coaches, in a sense, a person will hit a shot and it'll do something, and they'll go, what did you notice? How were you holding the club? What was in your mind when you made that shot? And then they do it again. It's like, what was it in your mind? What happened? And the person can then get more and more clear. It's like, here's where I was clear. Here's where I was holding the club good. Here's where I was really in my body in a way that worked. Here's where in the people. Then they can create that because they know it, and they could recreate it over and over again. If we don't give people an opportunity as coaches to know what that's like what happened to you that allowed this to come in, then they can't know what they did, how they shifted, how they changed, what they let go of, what was no longer present, what happened. If we don't do that, then they can't own it and replicate it for themselves. That's where we're coaching to sustainability. I hope that makes sense. And all along the way, and this is true, I think every single conversation I have with other people and with me is that place of, I don't know how to do me outside my comfort zone. I don't know how to do me doing this well. I don't know how to do me acknowledging that I do this well. I don't know how to do that. And it's very challenging for us to really be able to be in the truth of, I don't know how to do me. And so I keep avoiding potentiality because I don't know how to be in that potentiality. So think about this with you as a coach in your clients, in your sessions with your clients, of how you are learning and mastering this capacity to be you in the presence of other people, in the presence of this role as a coach in this business, if you will, of coaching. Is who are you, and how are you learning how to be you? How are you mastering yourself in these creations? It's a really good question. I love it. So again, we're experiencing a coaching session is really about providing an experience for your clients that they can draw on over and over again. Here's the experience I had while I was coaching. This inspired, motivated, a sense of self, trust, self-trust, self-confidence, self-respect, where they avoid or ignore and distract themselves from their potentiality. All of those things. We're in that experience as teacher and student at the same time, all at the same time. And we're in that sometimes we want our clients to hurry up and be successful so we can look good, and we get frustrated and disappointed. We have expectations that we want our clients to meet those expectations of ours, and we got to look at that because it may not be effective for your client. I have great expectations for every single one of my clients, but if I pressure them with my disappointment or frustration, it's not going to help our relationship. Third, when my clients are reaching their goals, to use that as a platform to talk about how did they get this successful? How did they bring themselves to this goal? What are the choices they were making? What did they let go of? What did they shift so that this could come about? And we're coaching to sustainability. We're not coaching to arriving. The arrival will happen when it happens. We're coaching to the sustainability of this level. In a sense, if you're climbing Mount Everest, you have the village, and then you go to base camp 1, 2, 3, I think maybe 4, and then the top. You have to acclimate yourself. And that's what we're doing with our clients. We've been in our life, we've been trained to be afraid and see ourselves as less than. And so we're acclimating our clients to seeing themselves as possibility and potentiality, and they're at base camp 1. And then they're sort of at base camp 2, but it's not sustainable because of the oxygen level, all those things. They may have to go back to the village and start over and over and over again. That's what we do. That's what we do. It's what you do. It's what I do, and what every single individual does. So we want to coach individuals to the sustainability of where they can get to that's in their comfort level, and stretching them at the same time. And I don't know how to do me. In every new client, every new session, I don't know how to do me. I'm just going to show up and trust that I'm me in a way that is going to be helpful to somebody else. I don't have to structure or manage or control. I just have to be me. And that's been a growing experience all along the way. I didn't just like, okay, I know how to be me now. I don't, because I'm new every day. I'm 72 now, and I still tell myself that I'm 72 today. I was 72 months ago, but I'm 72. It's like, I don't know how to do me at 72. I don't know. Or 72 and a quarter, 72 and a third, 72 and I don't know how to do that. So I just show up, see what shows up, see what's in my way, try to enjoy my life, and not just try, but really practice being in joy. And that's what I want for you. And that's what I want for every person that you are touching with your heart and your soul. All right. Just one more thing. I have a intensive coming up in September in transformational coaching. If you're interested, the link is below. It's a 2-day, I think it's the 14th and the 28th, and 6 hours each day. So take a look at that and see if it's something you're interested in. It's a really fun experience for me. We're looking at the foundations of transformational coaching and a whole lot more. So again, please like this, comment if you have things that you'd like to say. If you have questions or dilemmas yourself that you'd like me to address, let me know. All right, big hugs, blessings. Bye for now.